Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. We dive deep, very deep, into the incredible world behind this small yet mighty British coin. Our journey begins in 2008, a year before the official minting of the particular 2009 penny we're talking about. This backdrop is important because the change that defined the 2009 design was born a year earlier, in one of the most dramatic redesigns ever undertaken for British circulating coinage. After more than 4 decades of stable, traditional designs under decimalization, Britain decided it was time to refresh the appearance of its currency. The Royal Mint announced a groundbreaking competition that attracted the imagination of artists, designers, and creative minds across the nation. What shape should the future of Britain's coins take? How could the design honor a history stretching back centuries while presenting a bold new step forward? These questions echoed across studios, workshops, and design forums until finally, one design emerged victorious. A design created not by a veteran coin sculptor or long-standing engraver, but by a 26-year-old graphic designer named Matthew Dent. Dent's approach was revolutionary. Instead of designing each denomination with a separate, isolated emblem, he fused the entire set of coins into a single collective masterpiece. When arranged together, they formed an unbroken shield, the Royal Shield of Arms, a symbol representing the sovereignty and heritage of the United Kingdom. This innovation brought the coins together like pieces of a puzzle, each coin capturing a section of the shield. And it was the humble 1-penny coin that held the lower left portion of the Royal Shield, featuring the crossing lines and textured details that made the 2009 penny unmistakably modern, yet deeply rooted in tradition. As the new design took effect, millions of these coins began circulating across the UK. But among those millions, collectors soon discovered something interesting. The year 2009 was not a typical year for UK coin circulation. Due to global economic fluctuations and shifts in cash usage, the demand for small denomination coins such as the 1p was not as high as expected. This resulted in significantly limited mintages of certain denominations, and the 2009 1-penny became one of the standout coins from this period. While not instantly recognized as a rarity, its scarcity began revealing itself as collectors and analysts compared mintage figures with surrounding years. But rarity alone never tells a full story. The true magic of a coin comes from its journey, its purpose, and the meaning collectors attach to it. The 2009 penny, in particular, carries symbolism from a transformative moment in British numismatic history. It is not just a continuation of tradition, it represents a new beginning, a reimagining of national symbols, and a unifying artistic vision. When viewers of HD Ultra Rare coins search for the most attractive, most intriguing, and most historically enriched coins, this penny checks every box. Now, let's move from broader history to the heart of the coin itself. On the obverse, we find the portrait of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. But not just any portrait. This is the 4th official portrait used on circulating British coins, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. Introduced in 1998, this portrait was known for its realism. Instead of idealizing the Queen, Rank Broadley presented her features as mature, dignified, and strong. His initials, IRB, are finely placed beneath the portrait, a subtle but meaningful acknowledgement of the artist behind the work. Collectors have long admired this portrait because it marked a significant shift from the more stylized designs of earlier decades. Under Rank Broadley's interpretation, the Queen appears relatable and human, yet still royal and commanding. For many who collect 2009 coins, this obverse adds an emotional dimension. It is a tribute to a monarch who presided over more than 6 decades of British history, guiding the nation through dramatic cultural and political changes. She appears steadfast, serene, and symbolic of continuity, even as the reverse underwent a modern revolution. Speaking of the reverse, Dent's shield segment on the 2009 penny showcases complex intersecting lines, a textural grid, and the rich detailing that makes the shield instantly recognizable. What's striking is how this single piece of the shield interacts with the rest of the set. On its own, it feels like a fragment of something greater, hinting at a larger story, yet it remains aesthetically complete and satisfying. This dual nature is part of what makes the 2009 penny such an artistic triumph. The material composition of the coin also shifted from earlier decades. Prior to 1992, UK pennies were struck from bronze. But rising metal costs forced the Royal Mint to adopt a copper-plated steel composition, giving the penny a brighter, more polished look when new, while maintaining durability. Collectors of rare coins, especially those featured on HD Ultra Rare coins, often pay close attention to such changes because they reflect global economic pressures that influence minting decisions. But let's move deeper into the minting characteristics that set the 2009 penny apart. One of the most intriguing aspects of this coin is the surprisingly low number of circulation strikes in comparison with earlier years. Fewer pennies were produced, and relatively fewer entered everyday use. This limited exposure meant that many 2009 pennies survive in excellent condition, preserved unintentionally by households, coin jars, and savings tins. Yet the irony is that these coins are still scarce despite their high-quality survivals. The truly valuable 2009 pennies, however, come from uncirculated sets, mint sets, and proof strikes. The Royal Mint produces special collector editions every year, coins struck with superior detail, sharper lines, and reflective finishes. These versions of the 2009 penny shine brightly in the world of numismatic rarity. A well-preserved proof, with its mirror-like surfaces and frosted design elements, embodies the craftsmanship of the Royal Mint at its highest level. Collectors who specialize in coins from the reign of Elizabeth II often note that certain years become prized not exclusively due to low mintage, but because they represent pivotal transitions. The 2009 penny fits this pattern. It anchors the early years of the Royal Shield design, an era that transformed the identity of British coinage for a generation. For many collectors, owning a 2009 penny is like holding a piece of Britain's cultural evolution. The coin's increasing desirability is fueled by global interest as well. While it is primarily a British coin, collectors in the United States, Canada, Europe, Australia, and Asia have come to recognize its appeal. International demand is often the catalyst that propels certain coins into the spotlight, and the 2009 one penny has enjoyed rising recognition each year. Many numismatic influencers, historians, and online platforms like HD Ultra Rare Coins have contributed to this rising global fascination by highlighting the subtle details and unexpected rarity behind the coin. Top 2. We dive into a story that begins with something nearly every household in the United Kingdom once had in their pockets: a simple, copper-plated steel penny. But not just any penny. This is the United Kingdom Elizabeth II one penny 2007, a coin that hides history, mystery, and the kind of collector intrigue that turns everyday currency into a treasure worth more than anyone would imagine. Imagine the year 2007. The world was on the brink of enormous change. Smartphones were just beginning to reshape communication, the global economy was about to be tested in ways no one foresaw, and in the United Kingdom, the monarch's portrait remained iconic and instantly recognizable on coins circulating through the hands of millions. Queen Elizabeth II had already surpassed decades on the throne, and her image had appeared on countless denominations. Yet, in the midst of the coppery clink of pennies exchanged in shops, slipped between couch cushions, or collected in jars for charity, an unassuming one-penny coin was minted, one that would, years later, captivate collectors worldwide. The story begins at the Royal Mint, an institution older than many nations. The craftsmanship involved in creating a single coin is far more complex than most people realize. In 2007, the Mint was still issuing the traditional reverse design that had been in use since 1971. The crown portcullis, a symbol linked to British Parliament and historically associated with the medieval architecture of power. Designed by Christopher Ironside, this portcullis had become symbolic of British identity within the smallest denomination. Its elegant simplicity made it memorable, yet its intricate details made it an ideal subject for collectors seeking the rare, the unusual, or the perfectly preserved. On the obverse side, of course, was the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, rendered in the fourth official effigy created by artist Ian Rank Broadley. His design was angular, bold, and realistic, capturing the maturity and dignity of a monarch whose reign had already spanned generations. This effigy appeared on UK coins from 1998 to 2015, making the 2007 issue part of a highly collected era. There was something timeless about the expression on the Queen's face, calm, composed, and unwavering, a symbol of stability during changing times. But as with many coins that later become legendary, rarity is not always found in low mintage. Sometimes rarity is born from error, circumstance, or survival in immaculate condition. And this is where the 2007 penny quietly steps into its own dramatic spotlight. Most 2007 pennies were minted in massive numbers for daily circulation. People used them without a second thought, buying newspapers, tipping street musicians, feeding parking meters. But a tiny percentage of them were struck with unexpected anomalies, making them far more desirable in today's collecting world. While the Royal Mint keeps detailed records, errors inevitably occur during the minting process. It may be a die misalignment, an off-center strike, a doubled image, or even the use of an incorrect planchet intended for a different denomination. These tiny, almost invisible mistakes, when preserved and discovered, can turn a common penny into a sought-after relic. Imagine a coin struck with a slight doubling around the date, or with a faint distortion on the Queen's profile, or a misplaced detail in the portcullis pattern. To the untrained eye these might appear as minor imperfections, but to numismatists they are signals, beacons of rarity. And rarity, in the collector world, is equivalent to value. The 2007 penny also holds significance because it stands at the edge of a historic transition. Just 1 year later, in 2008, the Royal Mint completely redesigned the UK coinage series. Gone was the traditional portcullis on the penny. Instead came Matthew Dent's groundbreaking shield design, in which each coin displayed a fragment of the royal shield, forming the entire emblem when assembled. This meant that the 2007 penny was among the final children of an era, a coin that marked the end of a design legacy that had lasted nearly 4 decades. Collectors love endings. They love beginnings even more. And the 2007 penny sits exactly on the border between both. But what truly elevates this coin into mythical status is the handful of extraordinary examples that survived in pristine, untouched condition. Coins that somehow escaped the scratches, dents, pocket wear, and environmental damage that usually haunt pennies within days of entering circulation. These uncirculated survivors, sometimes still in their brilliant, mirror-like mint state, can be graded at exceptionally high levels, such as MS67 or MS68. And these grades are where real magic begins. Imagine a coin that left the mint in 2007, passed through no hands, and preserved its original shine for nearly 2 decades. A coin flawless enough that graders, under magnification, could not find even a single imperfection visible to the naked eye. Such coins are not just rare, they are elite. Collectors worldwide, especially those fascinated by modern British coinage, hunt for these perfect examples. And when demand meets rarity, prices skyrocket. Now picture a private auction room. Lights dimmed, collectors sitting with numbered paddles, anticipation thick in the air. A host steps onto the stage and reveals a coin so perfect, so pristine, so untouched that even seasoned experts lean forward in disbelief. A 2007 penny with such immaculate detail that it reflects the room like a tiny copper mirror. The bidding begins modestly, maybe a few $100s, but quickly escalates as bidders recognize what is at stake. 10,000. 50,000. 100,000. The numbers climb as whispers sweep through the room. Once-in-a-generation example. Museum quality. The crown jewel of modern British pennies. By the time the final hammer falls, the room erupts into applause. This is no longer just a coin. It is a legend in the making. But how does an object with a face value of 1 penny rise to such astronomical heights? The answer lies in scarcity, demand, condition, historical positioning, and above all, story. A collector is not merely purchasing metal. They are purchasing narrative, significance, and cultural weight. They are buying a piece of history, a moment frozen in time. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny 2007 has captured the imagination of collectors worldwide because it offers all of these things at once. It is part of Queen Elizabeth II's long legacy. It marks the end of an iconic design era. It carries the unpredictable charm of potential minting errors. And in flawless condition, it becomes an absolute marvel. For many collectors, ownership of such a coin is not just about numismatic passion, it is about connecting to a broader story of heritage, craftsmanship, and national identity. The 2007 penny belongs to an era of transition, reflecting a United Kingdom that was steeped in tradition but about to undergo change. It is a symbol of permanence in a shifting world. But the story grows even more incredible when we examine the very few examples that have surfaced over the years showing strange metal anomalies, planchet inconsistencies, or unusual luster patterns, quirks that may have resulted from fleeting moments inside the minting chambers. These rare characteristics, when combined with immaculate preservation, turn select 2007 pennies into world-class collectibles. Top 3. Where today we travel deep into the world of British numismatics to explore one of the most surprisingly sought-after modern coins, the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny 2008. It may look like a simple copper-plated steel coin, the kind millions of people handle every day, but as you're about to discover, this tiny piece holds a tale full of history, design evolution, errors, collector frenzy, and ultimately, an unbelievable value of up to $21 million in rare circumstances. Before we dive into the extraordinary events tied to this coin, imagine this: it's 2008. The world is changing rapidly. Economies are shifting, technology is accelerating, and in Britain, something quite historic is happening in the world of coinage. For more than 4 decades, British coins had featured artwork that had become familiar to every household: traditional shields, crown portcullises, and motifs representing centuries of English heritage. But in 2008, the Royal Mint decided to do something bold, something revolutionary. They introduced an entirely new coin design series that would link all denominations together like pieces of a puzzle, forming a complete shield of the royal arms when placed side by side. It was modern, elegant, and unlike anything the Mint had done before. The 1 penny coin was among the first to undergo this transformation. For decades, the penny had carried the crown portcullis, a symbol tied deeply to British Parliament and governance. Suddenly, in 2008, that image was replaced. The new design showed a segment of the royal shield, specifically the lower left quarter. It was simple yet symbolic, representing unity, identity, and the evolving transformation of Britain's currency in the 21st century. The reverse design was the work of Matthew Dent, whose artistic vision reshaped an entire era of UK coins. And at the time, most people saw it as just a fresh look for their changed purse. But collectors? They saw something else entirely. Of course, no great coin story can unfold without the presence of Queen Elizabeth II. On the obverse of the 2008 penny, we see the portrait sculpted by Ian Rank Broadley, introduced in 1998. This portrait is famous for its realism, showing the Queen with more mature facial features, wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. This became one of the longest-used portraits in UK coinage history. The portrait's strength, confidence, and detail reflect Britain standing firm through changing times. And little did the world know that coins like the 2008 penny would eventually be seen not just as currency but as historical snapshots of an era now gone. Now here's where the story becomes electrifying. While 2008 marked the official change in design, the Royal Mint, like any major mint, went through a transitional period. Some coins were struck with the old reverse design by mistake. These are known today as the rare 2008 penny error coins. Those error pieces carry the 2008 date but feature the older portcullis reverse instead of the shield design. It was never supposed to happen, yet a few slipped into circulation. And because of that error, their rarity skyrocketed. Imagine being one of the unsuspecting people who received one of these error pennies as simple pocket change. You might have tossed it into a jar, used it at a shop, or dropped it into a drawer without a second thought. Meanwhile, collectors around the world were searching, comparing, and waiting for one to surface. Over time, these error coins became legends, whispers in numismatic communities, rumored sightings, and the occasional lucky discovery that would spark excitement across forums and auctions. But rarity alone doesn't explain why the 2008 penny has become such a phenomenon. The truth is that the coin represents a pivotal moment in British minting history. It captures the moment when the UK modernized its currency, when traditional designs gave way to contemporary creativity, and when a small oversight by the mint accidentally created one of the most desirable modern coins in circulation. Even the standard 2008 penny, without errors, holds a certain charm. Made of copper-plated steel, it weighs 3.56 grams, with a diameter of 20.3 millimeters. Though mass-produced, its role in completing the shield puzzle makes it an essential piece for collectors assembling the full 2008 design set. But collectors of HD ultra-rare coins know that it's always the unexpected variations that cause the biggest waves in the numismatic world. As word spread about the 2008 penny era, collectors began hoarding any and every penny from that year. Bags of circulating coins were purchased. Old piggy banks were overturned. People searched their wallets, pockets, and kitchen drawers in hopes of unearthing the one coin that could change everything. The frenzy wasn't just confined to Britain. International collectors joined in, fascinated by the idea that a coin so common in appearance could hide such massive value. Over the years, these coin hunts created stories of triumph and heartbreak. Some discovered ordinary pennies despite hours of searching. Others stumbled upon rare pieces in the most unexpected places, inside old coat pockets, in forgotten jars, or mixed with coins from travel souvenirs. These discoveries became part of numismatic folklore, fueling hope and elevating the status of the 2008 penny to legendary levels. But what about the design itself? Beyond rarity, the 2008 penny stands out for its deeper symbolism. The shield of the royal arms represents unity among England, Scotland, and Ireland. By dividing the shield across multiple coins, the Royal Mint reinforced the idea that each denomination, no matter how small, plays a role in completing the greater whole. The penny may be the lowest denomination in British currency, but in this design series, it holds a unique piece of national identity. Collectors appreciate this symbolism, seeing the coin not just as currency but as a tiny canvas carrying centuries of meaning. The shield, with its complex heraldry, traces back to medieval times, battles, alliances, and traditions that shaped the United Kingdom. The 2008 redesign was a bold way to reintroduce that heritage to a modern audience. But let's talk about what truly pushes the 2008 penny into the upper echelon of rare coins: the incredible values it can fetch. While a normal 2008 penny is worth face value, the rare era version is a completely different story. Over time, prices at auction have soared as collectors compete fiercely for every known piece. Some examples have reached jaw-dropping valuations in private sales and high-profile auctions, transforming what should be a one-penny coin into a multi-million-dollar treasure. Keep searching your change. Keep exploring your old jars and forgotten drawers. Because sometimes, the rarest treasures are the ones hiding in plain sight. And who knows? The next $21 million penny might be sitting in your pocket right now.